my morning microdose. And so, if you're new to me, I've got this Microdose U. It's called Microdose U channel here on YouTube and on Apple Podcasts. And I basically just talk about things about microdosing. I've been microdosing magic mushrooms now for about a year and a half, and the reason I started was mainly anxiety, depression, PTSD, not from military, but from a toxic marriage, a traumatic toxic marriage. It's worked really, really well for me. And I'm not here to talk about me today. Mainly, I want to wait a few minutes and see how many people come into the room here. And I want to answer your questions. I want to not make this about my microdosing journey because you can look at all my past videos and future videos as well. And you can see what I've been through, and it's been a really, really positive experience for me, and it still is. It's incredible. But I want to hear about your story today, your questions. Um, it will take a little while for some people to get the notification that we're on live here. So if you are, just say hello. How are you? And fire questions away at me if you can. I'll drink some coffee. It's morning here in Salt Lake City. I've got coffee, and hey, how you doing there, Trip? Hey, it's an honor, man. It's really wow. Trip, I'm just kind of doing this, and I'm hoping some people pop in and for some questions or comments. And Trip, we need to talk at some point because I've got questions, and there's something I've been thinking about lately actually, and I don't want to make this video about it today, but I've been thinking about like and I'm sure you're really into this, but the concept of time. For some reason I'm obsessed isn't the right word, but I'm thinking about it all the time. Like, what is time? Like, what is our timeline? What is the timeline of this universe? Has everything already happened? I think, Trip, once I flip the switch, like all these like thoughts are coming into my brain. Time is not what we. It's cut off a little bit. I can't see, but time is not what we think it to be. That's what and I, yeah. We as human beings cannot perceive what time really is. I'm convinced of that also. And maybe we'll never have like a true understanding, but we can think. We can at least realize that I think realizing that it's not what we think it is a major step. I think you would agree with that. Who else is here other than Trip? And by the way, if you're not following my buddy Trip here, or my mentor, he's taught me. I call him my mentor, friend, and mentor. Follow him, Chop Wood. Uh, Chop Wood, Carry Water, Practical Spirituality, on YouTube, on Facebook. He's the guy. He's the guy to follow. Trip has taught me a lot. Trip, if you're still here, thank you so much. I'm just waiting for some questions because, and not from you, Trip, waiting for questions from anybody that is about to, yeah, Trip, for some reason, it's blocking out the comments. I can't really, you have to become comfortable with mysteries. Oh, and I am, because I've realized that, you know something, there's only so much that we know. And hey, Emily from the UK, what is going on? Oh, Emmy, no, sorry. Oh, Emmy, is it Emmy or Oh, Emily? Your screen name is Emmy, but your name is Emily. Great to have you here from the UK. Again, I don't know if this is going to work or not, but I want to make this about you guys. I want to answer any questions you may have. And and the most commonly asked questions I get are, how do you start? Is it okay if I'm on an SSRI? Those are like super, super common questions. How long does it take before I feel any results? Can't see you buffering. Is that on my end or your end? I wonder. Trip, if you're still here, can you see me okay? Can you see my image okay? Or is it me that's buffering it? And I don't know. But I've only got two of you on right now. And guess what? When two of you are on, you two, you look fine. That's a matter of opinion whether I look fine or not, but I know you. Thank you. When you two are on, now we have three. You three are the most important people right now in my life because you're here. You've taken the time out to come on to the live stream and watch. And if there's anything at all, I can help you with. And again, I want to make it clear, I am no expert. I do have a story. I have a story that this has helped me from a point where I was a few years ago, being very anxious, a lot of anxiety, some depression for sure, PTSD, many other things, and the mushrooms have taught me about my life, along with some other things that I'm practicing every single day. But they've helped me escape, if that's the right word, escape from a place that was not good, dark. Anxiety and depression are not good things. But they've helped me get over that. And every day, pretty much, yes, Trip, pretty much every day, I wake up and life is just really good, really, really good. And I'm here to share my experience with anybody here. Yeah, I got to click on this because my thing's not working right. You gain freedom from the problems of the mind. That's so true because our ego, our inner voice, I can see you refresh the page, everyone, if you need to. Everyone. I like that. Everyone, Emily. We got like 3 people. I wish there, no, I don't wish there, whoever's here is here. And again, if you're here, you are the most important thing to me right now. We don't need 1,000 people on the live stream. Because guess what? I am enjoying my morning smoothie. And you might want to ask, what do I put in my smoothie? Well, I'm so glad you asked because every single morning, or almost every morning, I make a smoothie for my wife and for myself. I use a NutriBullet, and basically it's so easy. I put, and it's all fresh and it's all basically organic. And I put usually 1 to 2 bananas. I put strawberries and I put blueberries and some oat milk. Mix it all in, grind it. And so this is like totally, there are no fillers, there's no high fructose corn syrup bullshit in here. No, this is the real deal. Try to start off almost every morning with a smoothie, and then sometime later in the morning or even towards noon, have like a either late morning or noon, have a breakfast which would consist of several eggs, generally some cheese. Try to go very low in the carbs. And it's been working really, really well for me because I gained some weight over the summer. I don't know why. I think it might have been like just a weird place I was going through. Also, I gained some weight, and my belly got a little bit bigger than it should, and I wasn't happy with the way things were going. And I know a lot of this is in my mind and ego thing, but I still want to be the healthiest person that I can be. So I took it upon myself to do what's called I would say a modified intermittent fast. Modified, because it's what I do. I wake up in the morning and generally don't eat anything until about 9 o'clock, and that's the smoothie. 9 a.m. That's the smoothie, and then I will eat like a late breakfast, but mostly protein, low in carbs. Sometimes I will have a little bit of a half of a gluten-free roll. And then a lot of times I won't have anything till dinner, and early dinner, so somewhere around 5:30, 6 p.m. And then after dinner, I won't have anything at all except for hot tea. In the past, I used to have like desserts, and I loved my ice cream in the evening when I was doing something. But I stopped all that, and like so after dinner, let's say dinner ends at 6:30 or even 7. The only thing I will put into my mouth or into my body would be hot tea, green tea or white tea, generally, or some type of herbal tea. And it's worked really, really, really well. No more sweets, no junk, no crap. The pounds just start coming off and you just start feeling better and healthier. So, okay, now that I've talked, ask me a question. I want somebody, do you have a question for me? Because that's the purpose of the show today. It's not just to hear me ramble and talk. What do you have for me? I will sit and wait for you because that's my goal for today is to answer your questions. So I'll sit and wait for you to ask me a question. Do you have anything? Somebody said a little while ago, they said, Dr. Dave, I miss you. Don't go away. Keep doing videos. You can talk about anything you want, even if it's not microdosing or magic mushrooms or psilocybin or health. You can talk about anything you want. Well, here I am talking to you. Who's here? Say, wave and say hello if you're here. If you haven't done so yet, please. I know Emily's here. I think Trip is probably still here. Maybe. Trip's a busy guy. He's got. Oh, Emily, were you the one that asked when I'm coming back? And you said, are you the one that said I could talk about anything I want? I can't remember. It might have been you. Was that you? Well, here I am. Thank you so much, Emily, or as your screen name says, Emmy. So, but should I call you Emily or Emmy? I like both of them. Well, Trip, you're probably bored saying like, what's this guy doing? He's trying to say something, but he's not really saying anything. But it's okay. If I can just hang out with my peeps for a little bit, it's good for me, and I hope it's good for them. But Trip, you've got a lot of people to tend to. You've got a lot of people that ask for your help almost every day. And you're doing some really, really great stuff. And you've really helped me a lot for sure. I don't know if you can tell a difference. I think you said you could. But yeah, I think my eyes show that things are better. My eyes. And I'll tell you something else, Trip. It's funny. I know in the past, you and I would have some conversations about traumatic things that happened in my past, such as like my ex-wife and marriage and stuff like that. But I'll tell you something. Since I like flipped the switch, those things don't come into my brain anymore. I mean, and if they do, thank you so much. And if they do, it's like, okay, well, that's the way it was. It happened, and you know, that's that's the way it was. That's thank you, Trip. And I really do feel that way. I mean, I used to have episodes of like thinking about people from the past that either did me wrong or didn't had maybe like a tough relationship with or something like that. But now it just flows. Like okay, it's fine. It's I need to learn how to flip the switch. Well, Anunnaki, my man Trip is on this show right now. He's hanging here, so you might want to just contact him because he is more of an expert than I am as far as teaching people how to flip the switch. And you can reach him at Shopwood Carry Water Practical Spirituality. This was not planned. Trip happened to come on and say hello and talk a little bit. So I know he's here. So if you need, he's the person. But I know Trip also says you need to be ready. In other words, I've actually encountered some people in my life that I've actually introduced to Trip, and as it turned out, they weren't ready. They weren't real. For some reason, something is preventing them from wanting to flip that switch. You can see your memories, but any physical triggers anymore. You can see your memories, but they don't have any physical. That's exactly right. That's exactly the way I feel, Trip. Like, so of course, I can remember things from my past and things that I don't perceive as like really beautiful things. But yeah, they don't trigger any kind of like anxiety, depression, bad feelings, anything like that. So they're there. We know they're there. But okay, so all right, happened. There's a reason, and my life is better now, so it doesn't really matter. Something like that. That's kind of the way I feel. I don't, but I don't really even think about it too much. And I'm sure things pop up because in my family I hear things, but they don't. They just don't. They don't. They don't like bother me the way they used to. So flipping the switch really is a big deal. It really is a big deal. And as Tripp says, once you flip that switch, you can't go back. You can't like unlearn this stuff and say, oh, forget it. I don't want to. No, it doesn't work that way. But it's a good thing. It's a real good thing. Smoothie is good, especially when you get like a bite of a strawberry or a banana that didn't totally get ground up. It's just little chunk of something tastes great. Looking outside today, it's a beautiful day here in Salt Lake City. Probably unseasonably warm. We need some snow. We need some snow in the mountains. I'm looking up there. It's like almost mid-October now, or close to it's mid-October, and usually it's colder. So I know things go in cycles. I know, but it's better. It's better for everybody if it's colder and we don't keep setting these heat records. We don't want that. We don't want to keep setting records like that. So I actually had a tough time sleeping last night, and I asked my wife if I could use some of her sleeping pills, and she looked at me and said, "Yeah, knock yourself out." Bad joke, right? It's not true. In case you're worried about me. Oh, you're starting to get snow on the peak down there in Taos. Sweet. We need it. We need it. Oh, somebody else said good morning, but I missed it. These messages go away so quickly, and I don't know how to get them back. Let me see if there's a way. Live chat. Live chat. Let's see if that works. Oh, here we go. Oh, now, okay. Good morning. When you first start dosing, should you feel anything at all? Terry. So if you're talking about a microdose, which I think you are, there should not be any like perceptual psychedelic effects. You shouldn't be seeing like bright patterns, colors, dreamy, wavy. You should know a microdose is a microdose. So basically, you should feel a sense of maybe feeling better, but you shouldn't really feel psychedelic effects or feel like you're high or feel like you can't function. If that's the case, you've taken more than a microdose, or the microdose that you've taken is too high for you. Go back and check out my video called what's it called? I got to remember what it's called. The Absolute Beginner's Guide to Microdosing Magic Mushrooms. It tells everything. Definitely felt something in my head, like something kicked in. Yeah, Terry, you might feel that, but as long as you're at the level where you can totally function, and you're not seeing patterns or colors, then that's a microdose. Then you're okay. If you get to the point where that microdose prevents you from functioning normally, because you should be able to take a microdose and go to work, drive, be with the kids, participate in athletics, whatever. You should be able to do anything like that on a microdose. A microdose should not really get in the way of anything you do during the day. Again, if it does get in the way, then it's not a microdose, or it's not a microdose for you. Everybody's different. I was totally functional, but I definitely felt okay. Then that's perfect. Then that's probably what you want. You're probably at the right. And how many grams was that, or milligrams? Do you remember, Terry? Be curious. My guess, I'm going to say you took 200 milligrams. That's just my guess. Because 0.2 grams, which is 200 milligrams, is, for a lot of people, it's a point where you can feel something like kicking in a little bit, but you can totally function. So that's kind of like a mid to high microdose. Oh, 0.08. Okay, that's small. Okay, so that's 0.080. So everybody, let's do a little metric lesson here. 0.080 is how many milligrams. 0.080 grams is how many milligrams. You should know this without a calculator. If you said 80 milligrams, you are correct. 80 milligrams, 0.08 or 0.080 grams. I think there was another question that I missed because I was talking, I was talking over it. If you want to ask that question again, I think it might have come from Terry, but I'm not sure. If you want to ask that question again, we were doing a metric lesson, a metric, how many milligrams. I started small. Yeah. Okay. Well, that, as I said on my video, the Absolute Beginner's Guide to Microdosing Magic Mushrooms 101, or whatever it's called. I recommend for most people just starting at 0.05 grams, which is 50 milligrams. So that's a starting point. Everybody's different. Some people will progress higher than others, faster, but you don't want to start too high, because then it might be too much. What point did you know it was changing something? So Terry, I felt it was changing something almost from the beginning. Now, some of that might have been psychological. Some of that might have been a placebo, but nevertheless, it was working. But as time went on, and weeks and months into my microdosing, I was positive it was not a placebo or psychological, because I was absolutely getting real changes in my brain, and I could feel. And now here we are, like a year and a half later, and there's like zero question in my mind. It's changed me. Please like the stream to help. Oh, thanks so much, Emily. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you, for sure. Thanks for doing that. Because this is morning here in Salt Lake, and everybody's in a different time zone, and sometimes people are working, and I never really know when to come on and do a good live stream. I will experiment with there, even though it's called My Morning Microdose. If we could do it, even though it's called My Morning Microdose, we do it anytime. Doesn't really matter. So smoothie finished, and what I also like to do is just let me see what a trip say here. Never knock placebo effect. It's a real mind over matter ability. It can be absolutely. Yeah, I totally agree with that. And Majin, do you think that macrodosing is more effective than microdosing? A week ago, I lemon teched 1 gram of golden teachers, and now I feel much better, planning on doing 1.5 to 2. Well, it's a great question. The question again is macrodosing more effective than micro? Many people would say yes. I chose the microdosing approach a year and a half ago, when I did not really know that much about macro, and I was doing a lot of reading on microdosing, and it just seemed like the way to go for me. However, and again, my friend Tripp is here, and he is much more experienced with macro, or what he calls the threshold dose. And it's funny, Tripp is not really a microdoser, so if somebody asks him questions about microdosing, he'll usually refer them over to me here at Microdose U. And then if somebody asks me questions about macro or larger doses or therapeutic threshold doses, I refer them over to Tripp. And I think Tripp would answer the question. I don't want to speak for him, but if I could speak for Tripp, I think he'd answer the question, yes, larger doses are much more effective and quicker to help you. Does it ever make you feel like you needed a nap within the first hour of dosing? Well, I've been doing it for a year and a half, and I'm sure there were times, I'm guessing, over a year and a half that I wanted to, so Tripp says different purpose. Oh, okay, yeah. Let's see if we can put that up there, Talk Chat, live chat. Different purpose, macro and micro. It's weird how this thing I've got a macro and micro have different missions. Very interesting. Trip, you might want to, if you can elaborate that a little bit, or if I could just send people over to your Chop Wood, Carry Water, Practical Spirituality page, you could do it there too. Feel free to do it there too. But that's very interesting. Two different purposes. Now, I don't know if I chose the right one when I started micro dosing a year and a half ago. Do get a bit of fatigue sometime when I dose. I do drink coffee with it. Now, I usually drink. I have a little bit of black coffee almost every morning, but not even a cup, not even one cup. I don't drink it for any particular reason. Like I'm not one of these people that say, I need my coffee in the morning to wake up. No, I just kind of like the taste of coffee in the morning, and it's for no other reason. So I don't really use it along with microdosing to say, well, microdosing is going to make me tired, so I want to drink coffee to keep me. No, I don't do it like that. And microdosing really generally does not make me tired. So if your microdose makes you tired, you might want to back down a little bit on the dosage. Again, I recommend you go back and watch my video called got to remember it again. I can never think of what it's called. The Absolute Beginner's Guide. I see. I don't have like cue cards or anything up here. It's all from my brain. The Absolute Beginner's Guide to Microdosing Magic Mushrooms. That's a primer, and yes, that's the correct pronunciation. The word is it's pronounced primer. It's not pronounced primer. It's primer. That's a primer to starting from scratch and learning how to use and how to microdose, how to dose magic mushrooms. The Absolute Beginner's Guide to Microdosing Magic Mushrooms. That'll tell you everything. I'm going to be updating that video pretty soon, within the next week or two, each their own, but any answer is helpful. Yeah, be able to answer anything you want, Terry. That's why I'm here for you. That's why I'm here for you, my dear, for sure, no question about it. But I am going to be updating that video, although it's extremely relevant and accurate now. Here's what Tripp said. Let me read this. Macro is good for removing trauma and helping to flip the switch faster. Good for PTSD, depression, anxiety, and to help sometime prevent suicide. Micro is good to get off of substance, and then it stops. Well, Tripp, reading this then, I probably would have been better with macro because everything that you mentioned except for depression. I'm sorry, except for suicide. And I've never been suicidal. But other than that, so what Terry says, what is the macro dosing number? Again, I'm going to refer that to Tripp, Chop Wood, Carry Water, Practical Spirituality. But Tripp is going to say 4 grams. I know that. I know the answer, but I will let Tripp answer. He might have a reason exactly. Victoria says she already answered for Tripp. 4 grams. That seems to be the magic number for what Tripp calls the threshold dose. Have I done that yet? No. I will, because right now I'm taking a break from all magic mushrooms, as I talked about in my last video. I need probably at least about a 4-week break, which I'm more than halfway into now. Victoria says 3.5 or greater. You consider macro to be 3+ grams. Heroic is 5+. Okay, but do we really need, Tripp, do we really need a heroic dose? What would be, in other words, you usually recommend the threshold dose, which is 4. Who would need a heroic? Like, why would somebody, would it be somebody that's already done a threshold, or they want to explore deeper? Is that a reason for heroic? Insane does it how Mike Tyson does it. Insane is how Mike Tyson. What, I don't get the Mike Tyson reference there. Is he like a big doser? I don't even know. Or is he just insane? I mean, I didn't understand that reference. Sorry, I might be out of it. I'll tell you something else. I learned when I flipped the switch I've seen the man show handfuls of his mouth and chew them. Maybe he's a nutcase. I don't know. First of all, who's gonna be doing that on a video? Who's gonna be showing handful of magic mushrooms and just eating and on a why would anybody do that? What's the purpose of that? I don't get it. Thug dose. Um, Something threshold is 7 eaten. Threshold is 7 eaten. Does that mean 7 grams? I'm not sure what the seven eaten. 7 gram, because they're insane. Something I've also learned, or 5 grams of powder mixed into citric acid, citric juice. One thing I've learned, and one thing I think my life has changed to, um, is that I think in the past, like I always had to be like I'm in a conversation. I always had to be talking. Always had to be thinking about like the next thing I'm going to say. And I've learned that if you just sit back and listen to other people, you don't always have to fill the void with words. Like silence is okay too. And if you're in a room with a bunch of people, you don't always have to be talking. 7 grams eaten. That sounds like a lot. When I'm ready to do it, I'm going to stick to the 4. The 4 gram, the threshold dose of 4 that you've always recommended to me. 7 seems like a lot. I'll go with 4 first. We'll do 4 first, then we'll take it from there. And Trip, I know a common question for you is, well, what about if I want to do only 3? Is 3 okay? Can I just do 3? And what would your answer be? Somebody says, Trip, I don't want to do 4 grams. I'm a little bit worried about 4. I just want to do 3. How would you respond to that? Because I'm sure you get asked that a lot, or even 2. Somebody says, well, I don't want to do 4, but I'll do 2. I'm comfortable with 2. What's the best response to that? What do you say? I know what you're going to say, kind of. I think I know what you're going to say. No, just grind them up in a smoothie, drink the whole thing, don't worry about it. Am I right? So are you comfortable with silence? If you're in a room with a bunch of people, do you feel the need, let's see, if you're using double potency mushrooms like penis envy, then you only need 3.5 grams of powder into citric juice. Okay. But that's double potency, so that's like super, super potent. I would think if you're using double potency, I would think that like even 2 to 2.5 grams would be okay, because that would be equal to the 4 of like a golden teacher or something like that. Okay, so getting back to my question. So if you're in a room, several people, friends, social event or whatever, do you feel the need to keep filling the air with your voice? If you try and work up to the threshold dose, you'll scare yourself away from doing the threshold dose. I had a feeling. So that's your standard answer. Somebody says, no, I want to start with 2, see how that goes. So your answer is pretty much no. That's not going to work, because you're going to take 2 and then you're not going to want to do the 4. So just do the 4, just grind them up, put them in the smoothie, and get it over with, right? A threshold dose causes a permanent change in the brain. That's why it's so important. So in other words, I think what Tripp is saying, 2 grams, as good as it might be, it's not going to cause the permanent rewiring of your brain, if I can read into what he said. So it's not for Dave. It's not, I don't understand that. It's not for, maybe, I'm not sure what you meant by that, Trip. I'm sorry. You'll explain. It's not 4 grams. I thought you've always told me that a threshold dose is 4 grams, or sometimes it's just, better to do it alone in your journey, end up playing off everybody else's vibe. That's true. With doses you mentioned are too high for most people. Let's see what he says about that. In the meantime, I'm trying to get back to my question. No, it's not. No, it's not. I've got lots of people who have taken the leap. Right. Oh, I know you have, true, because I think people that follow you that take your recommendations are doing, I'm pretty sure it's the 4 grams in a smoothie or in like a lemon tech or something like that. What's considered, so my Jin says, what's considered a threshold dose? Oh, so a threshold dose is 7 grams eaten or 5 grams of powder. Oh, okay. So that's, hey, Monkey Ref from France. Bonjour. Bonjour. Okay, that was my misunderstanding. I always thought, Trip, that you told me that 4 grams is a threshold dose, but I guess I was wrong there. So it's 5 or 7, it sounds like, if I read that right. Does anyone know if there's any kidney concern told for dosing or microdosing? Are there any, and I've heard things about your heart also, your heart. I think the answer is there haven't been enough studies. That's what I think the answer is. I don't think anybody really knows for sure. I'll tell you one thing. I think my heart has to be healthier now because without all the anxiety cannot be good for your heart, and depression cannot be good for your heart, and PTSD cannot be good for your heart. So I'm willing to take, if there is, I don't even know if there is, but if there is a small risk about something with your heart, I'm willing to take that risk because the mushrooms have pretty much turned my life around, and I feel so much better every day. That in itself has to be better for my heart than not doing it and have my just feeling like I'm always in fight or flight mode. That cannot be good for my heart. There's no way that's good. No chance. That's why the people who take my recommendation get over their problems. They face that fear. So people, if you want to macro, if you want to rewire your brain, Tripp says 4 grams. Don't mess around with 2. Don't mess around with 3. 4 grams will do it. And if I'm making a mistake and misquoting, then Tripp, please correct me there. My kidney doctor didn't know either. You've got a kidney doctor. Wow. I don't really have a kidney doctor. I guess that's a good thing. Because I'm sorry, I guess if you have a kidney doctor, that means you probably have some kind of fear of the fear. Right. So I'm sorry you have a kidney doctor because that tells me that probably you're having a kidney issue. Can I blow my nose in public? I'm gonna sneeze. I'm trying not to sneeze, and it's just, maybe, it's not a cold. Oh, Lefty is working his butt off. Excuse me. Excuse me. See, if I'm doing a regular video, I can edit all that shit out. In a live stream, what you see is the real thing. I'm not saying that when you watch a regular video that it's not real because I've edited. No, it's real. But when you watch a live stream, it's like totally real. 5 grams, fan, Dave. 5 grams. I have to admit, I'm really confused because at first I thought it was 4. Now Tripp is, I might have missed something. I'm so sorry. And maybe I missed a couple comments. Maybe we're talking about different. But I always know that Tripp recommends a 4 gram dose to rewire, fix your brain. So I'm not sure why you're saying 5 or 7. I'm not clear on that. Okay, hold on. Let's see what Tripp says here. To be clear, a person that uses the mental training I give them can flip the switch without mushrooms. Yes, and I did that. About a month and a half ago or so, whenever it was, month and a half, 2 months ago, I started the mental training, and wow, it along with microdosing, because I definitely have microdosed, but it has absolutely flipped that switch, and I understand that inner voice and that ego more than I ever have in my life, and I see things very differently now. So yeah, what Trip is saying, I do believe that's true. You can do all this without really even microdosing or using magic mushrooms if you do this like daily exercise. Getting back, I recommend 5 of powder. Okay, maybe the okay, maybe the 4 was maybe that was something I got wrong in the past. For some reason I always thought you said 4. Maybe 5 is the number. And is there really that much of a difference between 4 and 5? Is there really that much of a is it that much of a difference? If you're gonna do 4, do 5. I don't know. The most I've done, some people ask what's the most I've done is 2 grams at one time, and that was also when I was on an SSRI, which by the way I'm totally off right now. Lexapro, I was on Lexapro. The most I've done was 2 grams, but 2 grams on an SSRI is not really probably not equal to 2 grams. So that's why I'm taking at least a month break right now, and kind of resetting everything. 3.5 to 4 is basic tripping dose to the old hippies. I know. At the end of every day, individual needs to do their own research for their own body, their own health, their own journey, for their own safety. I like that. I like that comment. I like that one. Trip, I'm jealous that you guys. It's that much for difference. I'm jealous you guys already have some snow on the mountains there. Maybe I need to come down to Taos to hang out with you and bring my skis until we get snow here, which snow here should be in the next couple weeks, I'm sure. I'm sure. Always in October. Always. I mean, if we don't have snow in the mountains in October, then we're in big trouble. Last year we had some pretty good snow in mid-October. Everyone's different, and you don't think that's true, come meet me. That's good. I like that. I'll show you. I'll show you. I'm different. Of course we're all different. We are definitely. Look at me. Yeah, very different. I can sit here with the best of you. I can sit here and not feel the need to keep talking. Is that oh, do you hear it? It's not, do you hear the fish tank? It's not a fish tank, but what it is it's a, like a Zen little rock garden. What do you call it? Let me see if I, okay, see this thing right here? So it's got one of those things that's got some stones in it and water and a pump, and it just makes beautiful sounds all day long. Inside fountain, that's what it's called. Thank you, an inside fountain. And we have it set up to a timer. Thank you, I'm glad you like it. I didn't, yeah, tabletop fountain. We have it set to a timer, like a smart outlet or something. So it goes off. It doesn't go all night long. No reason to. I'm surprised. I'm glad you could hear that from. I didn't know anybody could hear that, but that's cool. Very cool that you could hear that. So that means even when I stop talking, listen. You can relax to that. Hear it? People are coming on now. They're probably saying, what's going on? Dave is just sitting here staring and he's not talking. Well, that's exactly right, because I am comfortable not having to fill the space. And you should be too. Even if we just sat here and just stared at each other, it should be comfortable. It shouldn't be an uncomfortable thing, either on video or in real life. So could you do that? Could you sit in a room of people and just kind of go like this? 0.4 gram, just a microdose, but without any trip visuals, but I had some anyway. Oh, so you had some visuals on 0.4. Interesting. But yeah, like people say, everybody's different. Silence is silent. I'm glad you said that, Majin. If I hope I'm pronouncing. If you told me before how to, I'm sorry if I botched the name, botched the pronunciation. But yes, I'm learning that actually silence is much more powerful. Much more powerful. Okay, Monkey. Yeah, I've had a bunch of visuals with closed eyes in the past for sure, on lower doses for sure. Closed eye only. Absolutely, absolutely. Silence is powerful. You can prove that. Next time you're at like a little gathering, just sit there. Zen monks meditate with their eyes open. I believe that. Yeah, I can understand. Just like this. Try this next time you're, I'm telling you, try it next time you're at a gathering. You don't have to talk. Just sit there, smile, listen to others. I love closed eyes. Same. Now, I have to admit, I've had them pretty powerfully when I've combined some cannabis and magic mushrooms. I've had actually pretty powerful closed eye visuals on a combination, a low dose of each at the same time. So I'm in Utah. I have no desire to grow my own because Utah, if anybody, I have to be very careful because I'm putting my name out there and my who I am and everything. So I'm on a channel that is promoting the use of something that's mostly illegal. So I've got to be very careful. So I'm certainly not going to have a grow room here because if anybody ever got word of me and what I'm doing, busted into my house and I'm growing mushrooms, I mean, that's the end. So I've got to be super, super, super careful. And without going into too much detail, let's just say I'm super careful not to have anything in my house at all. So even though I have this channel, if somebody had a vendetta against me and said, "Hey, we're going to report this guy," he's no, I don't even have anything, and I won't go any deeper than that. But this is Utah where I am. It's not like I'm in Oregon. So I gotta be super careful. But it's such a wonderful, wonderful, powerful plant medicine. I can never say, well, since it's illegal, I'm not going to use it. That would just be doing harm to my body. Victoria, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Yeah, Monkey. I'm in the U.S., so it is different here. There are some areas like such as like Denver, Colorado, and some places in. Hey, Mihai, how you doing? I'm good, really good, really, really good. there's some pockets of places here in the U.S. that it's like decriminalized, but here in Utah, you know, I think they're fairly strict on stuff like this. So, so yeah, I've got to, especially, you know, like if I was just being myself, and you got to be, yeah, Terry, you got to be careful. If I was just being myself and didn't broadcast this stuff, then I would have no problem either growing something or keeping a supply in my home. But since I'm on the air here, I don't have anything. So any amount of text, I think it's probably the same in Utah. Any amounts of felony, and I'll tell you something. I don't want to be a felon, so that's why I'm super super careful. And again, like I said, I've got to be very creative, and so that's why I don't keep anything here. Let them come in. Let them come in. All they're going to get is maybe a mountain bike. What else can they get? They can get some vinyl records. So in Utah, cannabis is legal medically, but not recreationally. Victoria and I totally agree. I totally agree. If that's the way I feel, like it is illegal, but it's changed me so much. How could I just ignore this? Like, oh, it's illegal. Okay, I give up. I give up. I'm gonna let my body be screwed up because no, that's not an option for me. My body, the health of my health, mental, physical, is more important than the law. Now, I'm not going to be doing anything stupid. I'm not sourcing. I'm not selling. I'm not growing. I'm not doing anything stupid. But for small private consumption and not keeping anything here, I think I'm good. Right, Dewey? So the point of all this is not doing something wrong. It's to grow positively. Yes. So in Utah, you all have shops. They have shops for, there are shops for medical marijuana, medical cannabis, yes. But there are not recreational shops, no. From the Netherlands, I was just listening to Dan Fogelberg's album last night called, I think it's called Netherlands. Or Netherlands. Great album, by the way, if you haven't heard it. And thanks for being here with me from the Netherlands. I appreciate you for sure. Appreciate all of you. Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, guys, have you had enough? You had enough of me? Are there a small amount of shops? Or no, I'd say small number. They're not a lot. There's like here in Salt Lake, there's one or two main shops that I know of. No, they're not like it's not like it's not they're not scattered all over the place like Colorado or California or Oregon, Washington. They're not scattered all over. Nevada, they're just a few, very very few, and you have to have a marijuana card for it. Thanks, Victoria. There are 13 of you left here right now. Hit that like button. It really, really helps the channel. And Victoria, thank you. I really, really appreciate that. Really appreciate that. Okay. I totally agree. How could you make a plant illegal? I don't get it either. I don't know. Okay, guys, we're approaching an hour. I really, really appreciate you guys being with me. Love each and every one of you. And I know, Victoria, what can we do? Can't force them. People that watch, we get a lot of people watching the replay, actually. So people watching the replay, if they got this far, hopefully they'll do it too. And I really appreciate every single one of you. Every single one. It took either a minute or two. Victoria, hey, you're going to be the ambassador for this channel now. You got to be on every one of these. You're going to be my ambassador and help me out. I appreciate that. Wham! You're bad. You were bad. You get a spanking. Go to Victoria's house and get a spanking right now. Remind me where you are again, Victor, you told me, I think, but I can't. Where did you say you are? Texas. That's right. What part of Texas? Where are you? I was just in Dallas 2 weeks ago. I think 2 weeks ago, something like that. What part of Texas? Oh, got a few Texas brothers here and sisters, just north of Dallas. So you take that like Dallas Tollway somewhere up north, or whatever that road is. There's another road that goes north. I don't know, 75. I don't know. I can't remember. I just know wherever you drive in Dallas, you get charged for tolls. That's all I. You can't drive in Dallas without getting zapped for a bunch of tolls. And why do they do that? It's not like, channel Canadian Shroomer. If you don't know him already, good information. Oh, cool. I'll check that out. Monkey Rat, thank you so much. We'll check that out. Canadian Shroomer. I don't know. If I lived in Dallas, it would cost me way too much money. It would cost me way too much money to drive. I'd just walk everywhere. The old DFW. I flew out of love. I'm not proud of that, but I flew in and out of love when I went there a couple weeks ago. And I don't even love Southwest anymore, but it's a fairly short trip, fairly short, and I had some free miles, some free flights, and so I just grabbed that. Oh, I know. You can't really walk there either because it seems like the city is just not set up for walking. It's like all freeways. You got the 35, the 635, the Dallas, what is it called? The North Dallas Tollway. You got, I don't know, you got all these freeways all over the place. It's just, it's not really conducive for walking. I know. Come to Salt Lake. We walk everywhere. Okay, guys. Thank you so much for being with me. Really appreciate every single one of you. Kisses, hugs. Talk to you next time. And remember to like and share. See you later.